Hey gang, click like, subscribe, and enjoy the show, because we're going to review some G.I. Joe. What do we have today? Well, we've got the two Cobra Fireflies, and we're going to examine them next to each other, so we can see the difference between the new version and the Cobra Island version, and we'll talk about some of the differences, and just get into it. All right, so we've got Cobra Firefly, the new version, and the Cobra Island version, and I'm super excited to get into this. So let's look at the packaging first. We'll talk about the original number 21 Cobra Island Firefly. So Firefly is super cool. He is a saboteur. He's got all kinds of awesome skill sets. He carries demo. He carries a lot of different cool gear. And this is the old school window full, not windowless packaging. So you can see what you're getting. That's very cool. And then we've got the packaging. So hopefully we actually received the Firefly character and not Play-Doh. But I'm yet to lose out on the action figure inside. So we were batting pretty good. No one has changed out anything I've ordered off Amazon or pre-ordered at GameStop or anything, so we're doing pretty well. But I'm super excited to crack these open, so let's get down to it. All right, Stan's Hasbro stands. So if we look at the packaging here, he looks devious. He looks well trained. He's got some battle scars. He's a salty saboteur, and he's here to do some damage. So we'll start with the figure and then we'll move to the accessories. So initially, I used to wear a flak jacket like this back in 2007. It was called the MTV, and it was atrocious. I think it was designed for turret gunners, and if you are to remain stationary as a turret gunner, it was probably pretty good. But if you had to move with this like gigantic collar, they call it the Nut Pro. He has some Butt Pro as well. It really inhibited movement. So if someone is a saboteur, they're supposed to crawl under things, over things, be all nimbly-bimbly. His body armor is not conducive to that. And then we've got three very oversized fragmentation grenades mounted in his over here, which is weird because if he tried to run, this stuff would be all kinds of jiggly bibbly up on the side of his head. So I don't know. If he was doing like airport EOD stuff, it might be okay, but I do think the mag pouches are cool. The fact it's dual tone is neat, but his setup is pretty ridiculous, right? Like, no one ever wore grenades on their shoulder, right up. Can you imagine running? If he's gonna run, it's gonna be hitting him in the neck, and we'll move on. Okay, but I do dig the face, right? So he's got some scars. He looks a little gnarly. He's seen some combat. And I do like the camo pattern, right? He's got a good, sort of gray, dark gray, and light gray pattern going on. He does kind of have these weird boots. I kind of went off on previous iterations about their intergalactic intramural soccer tournaments and the shin guards that the early iterations of the classified line wore, but it seems like at this point they were trying to get away from that. So the firearms, I don't know what this is. This is like a Star Wars blaster. So yeah, this is can you see that? This is weird. This definitely looks very Star Wars-y. and it escapes me, but I'm going to Google it because we can't very well be talking about this figure without talking about... See? So we're gonna... Okay, so Firefly originally carried a very sleek and cool looking MAT 49 submachine gun, and I don't know what he's carrying right now. It looks like Warhammer, Star Wars. You've got this weird, where the buffer spring and tube and buffer would go. I don't know. But the gun's weird. The gun is definitely weird. We'll move on with the rest of the accessories. So he comes with this thing of dynamite. Dynamite's a bit outdated for saboteur purposes, and he should probably be carrying, maybe some type of plastic explosive, a C4, data sheet. I don't know. Not Wile E. Coyote's stick of dynamite. So that's a bit odd. It has, this little, I don't know, easy button to push. Not really sure that's supposed to represent the detonation device, but yeah, it's a bit weird. You've got Wile E. Coyote dynamite. He does come with a fun little drone, which is very forward thinking that a saboteur would maybe carry a drone to spot out his potential targets, case areas. Maybe establish like a pattern of life if he was going to infiltrate, some place. So super forward thinking, very Looney Tunes. All right, his backpack. His backpack's neat. So he has it's dual tone. So he's got his shiny wrenches, some pliers, some other saboteur, or just tools to get into places he's not supposed to be into, and that's pretty cool. I don't have a lot of complaints about that. I think that's pretty neat. It goes in his back pretty well, pretty good there. Let's see, we've got some type of presumably night vision devices, not just psychedelic red lenses. It's got a little antenna, so maybe he can, if we suspend our suspense of disbelief or engage our suspense of disbelief, maybe he can see through the eyes of his drone. So we'll put those on, and let's see here. They go on pretty well. Oh, look at that. He's up. He's ready to look at stuff through rose-tinted spectacles. And then it comes with this sort of tablet looking thing. I'm not sure. I guess that's to control the drone, but it's really kind of weird and anticlimactic. It's just like this sort of like meh device. There's something interesting here in his pack that something's going to attach to. So is it the drone? What attaches here? Let's figure this out here. I don't know. Ah, his little stick of dynamite. There we go. His little sabotage pack. That's kind of cool that it does, clip in, but it should be like a brick of C4 or something, not as antiquated as, dynamite from the 1800s. Overall, like, Firefly is one of the coolest characters in G.I. Joe, and I think he was done a bit of an injustice here. The face is well sculpted. I really like, he's like a crusty old war fighter who's seen some stuff. He's got some scars, but there's no way a saboteur is going to wear all of this armor and leap over obstacles and sneak through anything. It's sort of space age fantasy. Just sort of hit the, or miss the mark of being a very agile, saboteur, sapper who can crawl under sea wire and fences. So I'm glad, I am glad that we have another one to review, because this one doesn't really, it doesn't really do it for me. So let's talk about the newer version of Firefly. Alright, so the recently released Firefly. Let's take a look at the artwork on the box, and I really dig it. So he's got explosions in the background. He is carrying a detonator that's counting down. He's got a submachine gun, which sort of resembles the MAP 49. He has a unmanned vehicle, sort of a remote control little four-wheeled robot, what looks like limpet mines, bayonet. It's still the same, really neat, and it might be the same body. We'll look at that, but the same camo pattern as the original Firefly. But we'll take a look at the rear. That pistol, is that maybe a 5.7, an FN 5.7? It's hard to tell because Hasbro bases some of their weapons off of like stuff that's non-existent. But let's talk about the figure. All right, so initial impressions, very cool. Very cool. He's got a holster for a secondary weapon. He has some sort of thigh rig, and if you've watched previous episodes of this channel, you know I'm not a huge fan of thigh rigs. These are flashbangs. These are definitely flashbangs. That's what that resembles. Definitely a flashbang or two, and then a scab. Okay, really? You're gonna put a scabbard for a knife? Like, I mean, you're gonna put a scabbard for a knife here, so I have to go here to draw my knife with my offhand? Maybe if Hasbro hired somebody who spent like more than 5 minutes in the military to advise on some of these action figures, it'd make a little more sense. But, again, I've got some bias. But overall, I really do like this figure. I think that the, cross bandolier, silly, but it's, it's the character. It does make a little more sense. Let's look at them side by side. Is the head the same? No, it's not. Absolutely not. Not the same. So the original Firefly sort of has a misshapen, we got blowed up. A little too much TBI from my dude here. His brain's swollen or something. Vice. The newer version. So not a repaint. What about, the body is completely different. Completely different. You can, if we start at the boots, you'll see the way the fabric is shaped. These guys are completely different. I think that the original one maybe borrows some parts from Beachhead, because they are kind of like Beachhead, sort of the G.I. Joe version of Firefly. But back to our new guy, I'm excited to see where these accessories line out. And here's his cardboard insert. I thought I would spare everyone having to watch me open this stuff, because who wants to watch a 40-year-old man open action figures? Hey, if you do, let me know in the comments, and I'll start to do that. But there's our accessories. So we've got his pistol, and it looks like a Keltec of some nature. I don't know, is it a Keltec and a 5.7 had a baby? I'm not really sure. But, well, that's weird. So it has something here at the very top, and then where a guide rod would normally go, It's a barrel? So the barrel should be further north of this thing. Yeah, because you've got the slide's going to go back. This isn't the barrel. This can't be the barrel. The barrel has to be here. This is some kind of messed up guide rod. Oh, Hasbro, quit making stuff up. Yeah, like just... At any rate. Alright, so his little drone, his little car, a little wheels spin, that's cool. Wheels spin a little bit. So he could go, okay, I mean they spin a little bit. But he has some sort of package on him. I guess it's a gender neutral robot. It has a package on it. But it's a little bit more like an EOD robot. There's actual application for these things. VISA, sci-fi aerial drone. But this is pretty cool. We got his limpet mines here. He's got some limpet mines. So this, would presumably attach via magnet, to a ship's hull or a vehicle. I don't know where these go on our character here. I'm not seeing an immediate place to put these things, but we'll keep moving. Oh, this is cool. So his little detonator, it's clacking down. It's at 3 seconds. It's going off because he's doing sabotage stuff. So we'll put that in his hand, and then we'll talk about. Oh, here we go. I'm going to lose his magazine. So this is pretty cool. He's got a magazine. So magazine inserted. And it comes with a removable suppressor. And the suppressor is pretty neat. It's not just a tube. It's got some cutouts. So this is not a true representation of the Mat 49. I think this was Beachhead's gun from the Real American Hero series. I could be mistaken, but I don't think this is model off Firefly's original weapon. At any rate, it does look pretty cool. I think it's neat. It has a removable suppressor. That's cool. The magazine removes, if you're into that sort of thing. So we'll get this in his hand there. There we go. Goes in well. I do like his gear setup. It's somewhat believable, right? So he's got a couple pouches in weird places, but he has his flashbangs, his pistol, so he's right arm, right hand dominant. These could probably go somewhere else, but we'll play pretend that's okay. Oh, we still have his knife, so he comes with a blade, and that goes in a really weird place that I've seen a lot of young boots put knives in weird, like places in their gear. That's got to be because you would have to reach. So we assume, right, his holster's on the right side, he's right hand dominant. How's he going to reach for a knife? He would have to do it cross body. Really strange. Alright, we've got his night vision devices, or his optics. So these are a little more complex than the we'll get the original with his little red goggles and look at them side by side. Alright, so we've got our new Firefly next to our Cobra Island variant, and that's what their little optics look like. So I do like how our newer Firefly has that strap that goes across the head, like a real NVG strap. I don't know what the honeycomb green, I guess maybe one's IR, one's thermal, perhaps. I guess they leave it up to us to play pretend. But his backpack is really neat. It is I can't remember what the original Real American Hero backpack looked like, but I think this is a little truer than the Cobra Island version. Oh, now I see it. Now I see where his mines go. Alright, it's little limpet mines clip in here on the side. Alright. And when he does have to hop a fence, because he should be agile enough, he's not wearing that godforsaken flak jacket or whatever it was that the Cobra Island version was wearing. And so it's got a little place for him to store his gun. There we go. Maybe we'll pull his pistol out, and he can, maybe he's going to round a corner. But again, this pistol's gross. That's a guide rod. The barrel is north. What is going on here? It's like people have never seen a gun before. Designing guns. Okay. Speaking of which, go to www.topfunretrotoys3t.com for ultra-realistic 1/12 scale weaponry. Alright, so here's his pistol. Again, it's sort of like a Star Wars take. The guide rod then becomes the barrel. But overall, I really do dig this figure. This figure is what the original should have been. They made sort of this bulky Mega Man armor, juggernaut turret gunner weird thing. Look at the size of the grenades. These are perhaps to scale, but this is like throwing a freaking pineapple. Those things are massive. But overall, I think that Hasbro has realized that their audience is grown-ass men. Dudes in their 40s and 50s who are sort of reliving childhood experiences with these action figures. So instead of trying to create something, reborn, redone, rebooted, maybe just look at the original and kind of update it a little bit. That would probably be your best key to success. But overall, the new one's the way to go. The old one, I can't believe people are paying a lot of money for those. I hope they're not, because it's not a great figure. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty displeased with how the Cobra Island Firefly turned out versus the new one is super cool. Happy to pay money for this. Super glad I pre-ordered it from GameStop, and I have no relationship with GameStop, but if you want to have a relationship, we certainly can. But we've got tritone. We've got some black, some gray, some green. Really cool Cobra emblem. Limpet mines that come off. His backpack. It's not monochrome. It's a couple different colors. Minus this weird knife thing. What's up with that? And then this bizarro pistol. I think Hasbro did a pretty good job with this figure. Yeah, I am glad to have this as part of my collection. Up next, we have a surprise. Dollar store Firefly. Is it true?